Hey YouTube, Steve here from Vegas West Side Shooters, and I'm excited to bring to you today an unboxing and first shots video on our new purchase, which is the Sig P220 Elite in 10mm. And Luke and I have been looking for a 10mm handgun. We've looked at different ones. We looked at the Colt Delta Elite, we've looked at a Kimber, we've looked at the Glock 10mm, and we finally, I was in Northwest Arms in Las Vegas here the other day, and I was ordering some suppressors from the Thompson Machine Company, and I spied this little jewel sitting in the gun case, and I just simply couldn't resist. They actually had this P220 Elite in the stainless model with the rosewood grips, and they also had the Emperor Scorpion 220 in 10mm. And the reason I chose this was the Emperor Scorpion is a double action, single action with only right-handed controls, and the 220 Elite in 10mm has a single action trigger and has a ambidextrous safety. And since I'm a left-hander and Luke's a right-hander, I decided to go with the ambidextrous single action only. And also, it's just a fantastically beautiful firearm. I mean, I love the looks of stainless steel with rosewood grips. I just think it's just a classic, beautiful gun, and I was taken with it, so I took it home with me. Much better idea than doing that on a first date. So a couple of features I wanted to point out on this gun. First, I'm going to do a safety check, so I don't get 50 comments about what a dork I am. And okay, pistol is safed. I can even put it on safe. So the sights, I like the sights. They have adjustable rear sight, target sight, which is blacked out, and then a front sight, which is actually a night sight. And so those are nice sights. As I mentioned, it's an ambidextrous safety. On the other side of the gun, we have the takedown lever, we have a slide release, and then we have the safety on that side for right-handed shooters, and of course the magazine release as well. One thing I can say about this gun, I will take the safety off now, that I don't love is the trigger. Compared to my 226 Legion, which has maybe the best trigger for a production gun that I own, this trigger has quite a bit of take-up. You can see all that take-up. It does have a very clean and crisp break when it breaks, but the reset is pretty long. I mean, that's about, I don't know, 7 or 8 millimeters of reset. And then after you reset it, there's still a fair amount of take-up until it breaks again. So certainly adequate to the task, but this is no competition target pistol. And I'm actually going to leave the magazine release and the controls the way they are because I'm not going to use this for competition or target shooting. This is really A, for fun at the range and to experience the 10mm, but also if and when Luke and I decide to go hunting, if we go into bear country, a 10mm pistol with 8 rounds and an extra magazine of 8 rounds is probably a good thing on your side. The only other gun that I would keep, handgun, would be a 44 Magnum, which would be a revolver with 6 rounds. But my 44 Magnum revolvers are pretty big and clunky and heavy. So if we decide to go hunting, this is going to be my sidearm for hunting. And then we did test the trigger, and the trigger pull weight was 5 pounds and 14 ounces. I'll do it again if I can here. Okay, let's test it again here. Here we go. So 5 pounds, 5 ounces. The last test I did was 5 pounds, 14 ounces. So it's running around between 5.5 pounds and just under 6 pound trigger pull, which is a very reasonable trigger pull. This is not a competition gun. It doesn't have to be a 2 pound trigger. So we're gonna clean this up and take it out to the range and do some test shooting. So we hope you stick with us. All right, we're out at the range with the P220 Elite in 10mm, and we're going to be testing out some Cellier and Bellet, which is kind of a flat nose jacketed full metal jacket It's a flat nose. We've got the HSM, and the cellular and billet's 180 grains. The HSM is a 200 grain full metal jacket. And then we're going to be shooting off some of these Powerball Corbon ammunition, which is a really interesting ammunition here. I'm going to show one of these just so you can see it. It's pretty amazing. This is a 135 grain polymer tip bullet, which I'm going to get out of the way of my shadow so you can see this. And it's a copper jacketed polymer nosed hollow tip in 135 grains. It's supposed to come out in 1400 feet per second out of the barrel, so we're going to try some of this stuff too. So we'll get this all loaded up and start shooting. Okay, first up, Luke's going to be shooting 6 rounds of the cellular and bellet 180 grain full metal jacket from 15 yards on the steel. Range is hot. These are the first shots with our new Sig 220. How's that? A lot of recoil or not too bad?
Not too bad.
And how's the trigger?
It's awesome.
Is it?
Fantastic.
Okay, I'm up next. All right, here's my turn with the cellular and billet 180 grain flat nose full metal jacket. Range is hot. It's got a little more recoil, but it's very controllable. Its trigger has a lot of take up before it breaks, but it didn't seem to inhibit my hitting the steel. So let's try out some of those HSM rounds. All right, here's Luke putting 6 rounds of the HSM 200 grain, and it's sort of also a flat nose full metal jacket round, and that's from 15 yards against the steel with the Sig P220. Range is hot. And it did not lock open on the empty magazine?
Nope.
No? Okay. I'm going to try that HSM ammo now. Okay, here's Steve shooting the HSM 200 grainers. Full metal jacket, flat nose, 15 yards. Range is hot. Mine locked open on the empty slide, and I thought it was a little bit more snappy than the 180 cellular and bellet, but still controllable. Okay, here's Luke shooting the 135 grain polymer tip Powerball Corbon ammo. 5 rounds out of the Sig 220 from 15 yards. Range is hot. All right, you got that sighted in, and it looks like it locked open. All right, my turn. All right, I'm doing the Powerball. Open an empty slide, and that is definitely the snappiest recoil of all, but it was still controllable. All right, so today Luke was shooting a little bit low with that 220. We did test it against the target, and the sights are accurate, so it was our user error, but I just wanted to show he had a couple of entry holes in the 2x4 here because he was shooting low, and I just wanted to show the exit holes. You can see what a powerful round this 10 millimeter round is. I mean, that I can easily stick my entire finger in that wood, if not a thumb. So it really took a bunch of the wood out. I can't imagine what it's going to do to flesh. So we'll see you back at the garage. Okay, we're back at the garage with the Sig P220 Elite in 10mm, and I have to say I really enjoyed shooting this gun. I'm going to give it very high marks. I thought it was accurate right out of the box. The sights were already tuned. I thought there was a pretty good amount of recoil, but I thought the gun gives a lot of mitigation against that, and I felt very comfortable shooting it. Luke was comfortable shooting it, and it was just a lot of fun to shoot. You know, the trigger, as I said in the intro, I don't think the trigger is fantastic, but it's certainly serviceable. It's a reasonable sort of a stock working gun trigger, and we're not going to be shooting this for competition, so the trigger is fine the way it is. The other thing that's important to us that I really like is, the reason I didn't put the gun back together after I cleaned it is I wanted to show the chamber here. So we are going to hand load our own loads, and we're going to probably load them on the hotter edge once we get comfortable with that. And what's important is to have a chamber that fully supports the case, and this chamber completely supports this case. Some of the 10mm, like the Glock 29 and the Glock 40, the chamber on the stock barrel does not fully support the case, and if you have any weakness in the brass, that you've reloaded the brass and you have any weakness in that point, I think it's probably more likely you'll have a problem with the brass cracking or getting a blowout on your brass. So it's important to us as hand loaders or reloaders that we have a chamber that fully supports the brass case, which this does. So to sum it up, I'm going to say this is our first 10mm gun. We're pretty excited about it. We both really enjoyed shooting it. We had 0 malfunctions. It ate up all the different rounds. And now we're just going to focus on finding a good hunting round because we are going to carry this, either Luke or I will carry it as a sidearm when we do our fall hog hunt. So I'm going to give this gun a super thumbs up, and we really enjoyed it. We can't wait to get out and shoot it again. I hope you guys liked the video, and as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you around the range.